Howdy everyone. In this live stream in the Austinalysis series, we're going to review the hills. The hills are comprised from Great Hills, Spicewood, Anderson Mill, and Canyon Creek. We can see it on the map here. It's pretty much a nice area because you have both like proximity to downtown to a degree, but it's not super expensive. And you have great schools as well. Putting the intro and let's start. Howdy. So sharing my screen here. Great. So let's start talking about the hills. For those of you who are new to the channel, my name is Yochanan. I'm a realtor and computer engineer, and I work in Austin, Texas. And here is the area, the subject area of today. If we're looking at all of the areas here, let me remove the overlays. I'm putting here the Austinalysis areas. So let me remove the schools. We can see that this is downtown. Here is the domain and the arboretum, and hills is pretty much right on there. So from the hills, getting to the domain or the arboretum is rather quickly. You can get there within 10 minutes. And then if you're trying to drive to downtown, if you don't have traffic, it's going to take you 15 minutes. But with traffic, maybe it's going to take 30 minutes. So it's not super far away. It's not super close. And it really depends because living in Great Hills or living in, for example, Canyon Creek is going to cause you with different type of commute. What do we see in this area? So let me put it here. All in all, and I did not show it actually, let me just show one more thing here. All in all, the hills, the schools here are excellent. In Spicewood, in this area, you have it's one of the better ISDs in entire Austin metropolitan. You have like the best schools are here in Spicewood. You have Inns ISD and you have West Round Rock. But all in all, it's a great area from the school's perspective. You have a golf course there, and the neighborhood is, well, hilly, obviously. And you have properties that were built kind of, I think in the 70s. We're going to go into that in a moment. And let's see what are the market trends for those of you who are interested in this neighborhood, whether you're living there or considering to move there. So from a volume perspective, we've been seeing a rise from January and February, but then it was a bit stable. We can see that between March and April, pretty much the same volume, pretty much the same amount of properties sold, about 37 properties sold, total volume of $28 million, similar to what we've seen in December. But before that, we can see that there was a slight drop here. And when we're looking at the actual prices of the properties, that's getting a bit more interesting. And it's similar to what we've seen with the Central last week. We're seeing that the days on market are dropping. Properties are getting sold here within 8 days median from publishing, meaning that pretty much they're getting snagged off the market almost immediately, at least the good ones. We are seeing slight uptick in the price, the median price point. And we can see that it's, the price point since the bottom has been increased significantly. It's about 22% since the bottom. And if we're looking at the price per square feet, we can see a raise of something like 10% since the bottom. So the market bottomed when the Fed hit the brakes, and then since then it has been trending upwards. And that's what we've seen also in Central. We've seen it in the North Austin suburb area, and it's kind of consistent from that perspective. The market is definitely heating up. So if we saw properties staying on the market for 2 months median in January and February, in March, we've seen 30 days on market and now 8 days on market. This is a hot market. The under contract listings here, we can see that we have almost double the properties. The days on market are a bit lengthier. We see 12 days on market median. So still relatively a short period of time, still presenting a hot market. In this graph here, in the light red, we are seeing all the price difference from the original listing price by the owner compared to the final listing price when the property got sold. And we can see, I call it a delusional graph, and we can see that around November, the sellers were delusional with what they've been asking. But now in April, it's almost the same. We're seeing that the original listing price compared to the closed price, we see about 10 grand of difference, and $4,500, almost properties that are sold at their asking price. So we have seen for quite a while properties being sold for less than asking, and now it's getting to asking. And I think that in a month or two, it's going to be over asking, judging by what I'm seeing on the market. So it's going to be interesting to come back to this live stream in June and seeing whether I was correct. What are the takeaways? So the demand peaked quickly. We saw the Fed hits the brakes. We saw how everything got halted around January and February. But now the prices are turning upwards. The prices are getting higher and higher and higher. They are still not super expensive. I'm going to show you on the tool in a moment. We can look at the 12-month period of time and see where are we compared to the top. So we are still below the top, but we're definitely over the bottom. The volume is higher, way higher actually. I think that the volume, again, we saw like a double volume compared to February and January. It makes sense. It's seasonal to remember that anywhere between like November to February, it's kind of the dead season in real estate. So I'm not shocked to see more volume. But compared to the central market, when we saw a reduced volume, here we actually see an increase. And all in all, the discrepancy between the close price and the listing price and the close price is almost done. So if you're trying to beat the benchmark, you want to be at least 5 grand under asking. When negotiation is done, hopefully you can get to the 10 or 15 grand. So remember that when you are engaging with the property in this area. Any questions that you have, please leave me a comment. If you're in Facebook or LinkedIn or YouTube, we're seeing all the comments and I'm going to refer to all of them. So I would really, really appreciate your feedback and any type of questions that you have. What about the sales data? What are we seeing with regards to sales? So from the price perspective, we are seeing that properties are getting sold here. If we're looking at this graph here, pretty much up to the 900. We're seeing anywhere between 500 to 900. These 500 grand properties are typically condominiums. So the single family homes are not really being sold for 500 grand. And you can get up to the 900 grand, and then you can say drop. We see that some of the properties sold up to like $1.5 million, and then like nothing. You don't see anything over $1.5 million or $2 million. This is not really the price range for this type of neighborhood. If we're trying to see what is the price per size group, we're seeing that if you're trying to get something small, maybe a condo less than 1,200 square feet, you might be able to get in with even like 300 grand. But if you're trying to get a single family home for 1,800 square feet, it's going to cost something like 500 grand. And then up to 2,600 square feet, it's going to cost you something like 700 grand. And then up to 3,500 square feet, we're going to see something like 900 grand in median price point. We're seeing that the price per square foot is about $320, and it's kind of consistent throughout these groups. It is lower here because these are the condos. The smaller properties in the hills are typically condos. How many properties sold? So the majority of the properties sold are between 1,800 to 2,600 square feet. And then we can see some in the 1,200 to 3,500 square feet. So these are the type of properties you're going to see in this area if you're considering to move here. Most of them are going to be 4 bedrooms. You're going to see some 3 bedrooms, and then you barely have the 5s. It's not the type of structure that you see there. From a lot size perspective, we're seeing that we do have some bigger lots comparing to what we've seen in Central, that you have like nothing above like 0.4 acre. Here we can see that even like if we're going to like between third of an acre to an acre, we can see some properties. We have 9 properties of this size. But I want to mention something here. Most of these properties, even though they are, 0.7 acres or whatever, most of them, it's just the view. You have like a hillside territory that you can't really do anything with. So if you're coming to this area and you're looking for a big piece of parcel to build something on, or to have like a huge backyard, that is typically not the case. Most of the cases, when you see larger lot size, is because you have some view, not because you actually have a big piece of land. So just be mindful to that. Last but not least, pools. What are we seeing with regards to pools? We're seeing that the price in green, we see the price with pool. In light green, we see the price without a pool. And in blue, we see the inventory. So you don't have many properties with pools in these areas. only 4 properties in April, 7 in March, and we do see quite a significant difference in the close dollar per square feet. So we're seeing something like 380, I believe, compared to 310. What's the difference here? 380 to 310. About 22% of an increase when you have a pool. So in this type of neighborhood, if you build a pool, you're pretty much going to get your money's worth later on. If you're doing it on the hillside and do like an infinity pool, it's kind of a premium product to have. So consider that if you're doing that. I always recommend just buying a property with a pool instead of building it, but it's really up to you. I said last before, but this was actually the last slide. The year built. We can see that you barely have new builds in this area, like pretty much nothing. Most of the properties are going to be between the 78 to 90 year. We have some older properties before 78. We have some newer properties up to the 2000s, but that is the majority of the properties. So know that when you are engaging, know that you're going to have older looking properties. Typically, some of them are going to be renovated, but they're going to be more expensive. That is pretty much it for this area. I tried to cramp it into 10 minutes, and I think that I kind of made it. So what questions do you have about this area? Because now we're going to move into the tool and we're going to see like insights about the area. So if you have anything that you want to ask me, please, by all means, do hit me up with questions here. I will start by looking at, let's just see here. So that's what we're seeing. We're seeing the median price point per square feet, and we can see what happened here. And I am interested of seeing what is going on in Anderson Mill, for example. So if I'm putting the zip code 78750, Anderson is a bit cheaper, I think, compared to the south side. So the 750 is northern compared to the 731. So let's see what happens there. And let me show it to you on the map too, so you have some understanding. So I want to see the difference of price points here compared to the prices more down south. So if I'm putting the 78750 and I'm looking at the price points, I can see this, like this area is significantly cheaper. So if you're buying in the north side of the hills, you can get in with something like 500 grand, like in Anderson Mill. And when you do that, you are going to see properties that are typically 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 2,000 square feet. So if you're looking for this type of, if you're looking in this location, this is the type of inventory that you're going to get. But if you're going to look a bit more to the south, so I'm going to put it now, and 731 is here. Let me show it to you on the map. This is the south, closer to the Arboretum, closer to the domain. And if you're looking at the data there, I'm expected to see a more expensive area. So let it update. What happened here? 7, maybe it's 59. So now I'm seeing properties that are getting sold immediately, like 5 days on market, 840 median price sold. And these properties are typically 4-bedroom by 2-bathroom, 2,500 square feet. So larger properties on a larger piece of land. You can see 0.27 acre. That's a nice lot. It's about 10,000 square feet of a lot size in this area, and it is more expensive. So know your areas when you are engaging. Know where you're buying and know how much it's being sold for. And you can see, by the way, the trends here. So if I'm looking at the trends, let's see the last 12 months. How did it behave over the course of time? I see it's not even the peak. Let's give it even like 14 months. I want to see where we are at compared to the peak. Okay, so at the peak, properties were sold for 405 per square feet. At the bottom, I'm seeing something like 312. And now we are at 354 price sold. So 354 compared to 405, about 13% less than the peak. And the total bottom was about 23%. So we can see a nice, healthier prices. Well, I don't know if healthier is the right term. More expensive prices for sure. And the main question is whether it's going to keep increasing over time. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Do you think it's going to keep increasing, or do you think it's going to go down from here? I don't know, because we do see a downward trend in this specific March to April month, but it's also because you have larger properties. Remember that larger properties have a lower price per square feet, typically speaking. Here we sold properties for 2,200, and here the median is 2,500. So I think that pretty much explains the difference. I don't see any questions in the comments. So if there's nothing, I'm just going to end the live stream here. Thanks all of you who joined to see this live. Know that we are doing a rotating market update, and I'm going to go over each and every area. Join the live streams whenever they are, and basically ask questions. And you can ask about another area. If you're here in the live stream and you want to know something about the northern suburbs, or you want to know something about downtown, you are free to ask, and I'm going to show you all the data in the tool. Remember that my tool is based on the raw data. There is no cherry picking. I'm not having any type of agenda here. I'm just showing you the raw data so you can look at it, understand what's going on, and make an informed decision. Thank you for watching. If you're considering to move into Austin, if you're considering to invest here, if you have any questions about real estate, hit me up. You have my contact information. You can call me. My name is Or. I'm, as I mentioned, a licensed realtor and a computer engineer. And I like this type of things. I like try to help people using data instead of using, guesses and sale techniques. Thank you for watching, and I'm going to see you on the next one.